Hey guys, this is Brian Mounts. I run turfmechanic.com as well as this channel. Today is early November and I want to talk to you today about lawn fertilizers. Not your typical fertilizers. I want to talk to you about winterizers. One of the most common questions I get over on my website and sometimes in the comments here on the YouTube channel in the month of November it has to do with what constitutes a lawn winterizer product. Over on my website especially, I get people asking about what to put on their lawn to prepare it for the winter, how to winterize, do you need to winterize, all of these variations of that question. Quite honestly, winterizing a lawn is, I don't know, it's not really a well-defined thing. If you were to go out and buy like 10 bags of lawn food, winter fertilizer, winterizer, all of those kinds of things, you're going to find different mixes of nutrients in every bag out there. There's different definitions of it as well. If you look at the three main macronutrients, you've got nitrogen, which is good for top growth. However, during the winter, because of low sunlight levels and because of cold soil temperatures, top growth doesn't happen. So even if you pump tons of nitrogen into it, top growth isn't going to happen. So lots of times you're going to find high nitrogen content in lawn winterizers because the fertilizer isn't actually expected to turn into top growth right away. If you put high nitrogen down just before winter, then most of those nutrients are going to be held into the root structure of the plant. And then once soil temperatures start warming up in the spring, then the nitrogen will be useful for the plant itself. Here, let me change hands. My arm is getting tired. Unlike some YouTubers, I am crude. I'm just talking into my cell phone here. It's all about the content. In any event, with the other macros, you got potassium and phosphorus. Phosphorus is used mostly by the plant for the root development. Now, that is one reason why you're going to find a lot of phosphorus in starter fertilizers. When you put, new grass seed down and it starts growing, you need to get good root growth. So starter fertilizers have lots of phosphorus in it. But sometimes you're going to find some winterizer products that have phosphorus, for the purpose of supporting the root system during the winter, because that's where all of the energy and the nutrients are stored during winter dormancy. In my opinion, this is where things start getting opinionated. In my opinion, phosphorus is not going to do a lot for the roots going into winter if you use it as a winterizer. Let's say, for instance, you're putting something with high phosphorus down in the month of November, just, as the grass has stopped growing and just before winter dormancy hits. In my opinion, it's just not going to stimulate root growth well. I like to put down the phosphorus, with the starter fertilizer and then in small increments throughout the year, because it will continually help with root development and growth. But there are other ways of stimulating root growth. Now, over on my website, which I have linked down below, there is an entire post about stimulating root growth in grass. I would recommend that you take a look at that if you are interested. But in my opinion, and I've made a number of videos on this over the past few months, potassium is probably the best bet for improving health of your grass through the course of the winter, because the potassium is, that's the third macro. You got NPK, or from your perspective, NPK. Potassium is the K. It helps improve the immune system of the grass so that it can fend off stresses. And now those stresses can be disease, those stresses can be drought, those stresses can be high heat, they could be extreme traffic, and they could be extreme cold that they experience over the winter, or snow compaction, things like that. Potassium helps out a lot, and I believe that it's worth putting a little bit more potassium down than some people do. During the winter, You're going to find some products that focus on nitrogen. You're going to find some that focus on potassium, and you're going to find some that focus on phosphorus. So, what is Winterizer? That's a really good question. Here, I mean, I run a lawn and garden educational website and a YouTube channel. I have an enormous amount of people who read my material and watch my videos, and I can't tell you what a winterizer is, because the definition is literally different for every company that makes a product. In my opinion, every product out there could be billed as a winterizer, and if an educated person was trying to justify it, they probably could. So, what does that mean for you and your lawn going into winter? I believe that if you want to shut your lawn down early in the season, that then, towards the end of October and towards the beginning of November, when things start getting cold, like for instance, in my lawn, my soil temperature is averaging in the upper 40s, and this is like the last day of October right now. So October, this is Halloween. The grass doesn't really want to grow at this point because we are 7 weeks away from the winter solstice. There's just not a lot of light, not a lot of sunlight, certainly not direct. It's all coming in on an angle. It's not the best lighting for soil, and the soil temperatures are dropping. Now, I have full sun here, and we've had lots of blue skies over the past few weeks. So my soil temperatures are staying high enough that grass does want to grow. But man, once we get a cold snap here in about a week or so, early November, I think we've got something slated for somewhere around October or November 6th or so. It's supposed to get pretty darn cold. The soil temperatures are going to drop, and they might not freeze, but the grass is going to stop growing. Point being here, once the grass gets to the point where it's going to stop growing, regardless of snow on the ground, regardless of freezing ground, at that point, if you put down a high nitrogen product, the grass will not grow. Now, if you're going to try to winterize in early October before the grass wants to shut down naturally, then that winterizer is actually going to just push more top growth because of all of the nitrogen. If you wait until things actually get cold, then that nitrogen gets stored in the root system. Now, if you want to winterize in September by putting down a product that is a little bit more heavy in phosphorus or potassium in the early fall, so the September or early October timeframe, then that material is going to go, those nutrients are going to get down into the root structure and create a healthy environment for root growth, because the soil temperatures are still supporting growth at that point, and you're going to be able to increase the plant's ability to fend off stresses that happen over the winter. So for me, being Halloween, I actually just put a fertilizer down. It's a slow release fertilizer down 2 or 3 days ago on the property here, because I expect the grass to still continue to grow for another 7 to 10 days. Now, by somewhere around like the 10th, the 12th of November, I really don't expect temperatures to support top growth, foliage growth. So at that point, I'm going to be putting down a heavy nitrogen. It's a fast release product. It's going to be a granular. It's just your regular old Scott's that you find at like Home Depot or Walmart or any other place. I've got like a handful of other places in town that I shop at, but those are the places that just about everybody has. When you put that down late enough, that's the point. It has to be late enough in the season that it's not going to create top growth. It's going to get stuck in the root zone and wait for spring. That's what winterizing is. For me, I've been putting down some liquid aeration products that are heavy-ish. I mean, they're heavy-ish in potassium, and I've been putting those down all fall, ever since the very end of August, early September. I've been putting these products down. They're heavy in potassium. The potassium has been working for the past couple months to support the plant's ability to withstand cold temperatures. We do get cold temperatures and we do get snowpack here from time to time. So that has been happening for a while already for me. To me, in my opinion, that is winterizing. I have been winterizing for 2 months already. The last step is the addition of the nitrogen, which is going to support foliage growth in early spring. For 2 months, I've been pushing immunity to cold. And now, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be providing it the nutrients that it needs to come out of the winter as quickly and healthy as possible. I want my grass growing and green in the end of winter, the very beginning of spring. I don't want to be one of the laggards here in my block. I want to be one of the first ones to have a nice, healthy looking lawn. What is winterizers? Winterizers are the fertilizers that you put down just before winter happens, like the last ones. If you put a fertilizer down at the end of fall and you don't expect it to do anything to the grass until 4 months from now, that's a winterizer. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you are new to this channel. Please like this button if you found this information handy, helpful, interesting, whatever. And I will try my very best to provide you with some interesting and helpful educational material even throughout the winter. Thanks for watching.